Om Shanti and good evening everyone from Bharat, and also a wonderful good afternoon to all those who are getting connected from Lagos, London and different places. First of all, I want to apologize because there is some technical issue happening with the speaker's end because the speaker is from Mumbai and some technical things are happening over there. So he has requested for a shift. So the same topic, same speaker will be addressed on the coming Saturday, that is 16th May, Saturday at the same time, 6 p.m. But you don't need to get any more disappointed because we have a wonderful speaker with us all the way from the country of Ghana, Dr. Grace Lopez Charles, and she is a retired mathematics lecturer, researcher, and she's a Brahma Kumari meditator, a practicing meditator, and from past 22 years. And she is now the national coordinator of Brahma Kumaris Center in Ghana. Since 12 years, she has been managing all the administrative affairs in Ghana. And she is an expert trainer, counselor, and a teacher. And she, very with warm heart and with big heart, she has agreed to address the same topic to all of us. We are so fortunate, and I apologize once again, but I'm sure that this 1 hour, the coming time, you're really going to enjoy and get enriched by listening to our sweet, lovely, experienced sister, Dr. Grace Lopez. Neenalven, do you have some flowers, please? We will welcome our beloved sister. Sister Grace, most welcome. I can just see.
Okay, thank you very much. This is really very strange because I had 2 students that I was working with in a counseling session, and this very strange request came from Gautami Ben asking me now to do a talk, and now? So here I am, and the topic is...
This is Nigerian language. Now.
No.
Everything is now. But I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. And I was planning actually, we're going to see you tomorrow in our meditation session. But it's so wonderful that a day before we get to see you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So this topic, and it's interesting, cautiously checking your subconscious. And you know, sometimes you're in a room and you're talking, but other people are talking, maybe outside, maybe in another room, and you're hearing that conversation that is happening, but you are still present with your own conversation. This is a bit of like the subconscious and the conscious. So the conscious mind is having a present experience, but behind that present experience, there is some other voices happening, and the voices of the things that we have stored, and which we call beliefs. And so they are there, and they are influencing the quality in which we are hearing and accepting whatever is happening in the present. And so the subconscious work in that way. And I just wanted to give you that little bit of analogy before we go into what is conscious and what is subconscious. What is conscious is me being now, the present, this moment. That's the only thing that exists. The past moment is dead and gone. The next moment will come, but I might not even see that next moment. So the consciousness is that I am now, I am in the present. And whatever is happening now and in the present, I view it in that consciousness that this is what is happening now. But in my subconscious, I have stored many experiences, many beliefs, many habits, many dreams, many tendencies. And these kind of influence what I'm experiencing now, in that it brings emotions, because these emotions have been stored up. And because I've experienced them before, I feel that it is real. And whatever is happening, I'm tainting it with something of the past. And for me, I make it like, if this is real, and I start developing sorrow or some sort of deeper emotion like fear or regret or even worry. And that because that subconscious voice is constantly speaking to me. But there is a conscious voice. And that conscious voice is what we find or what we refine in meditation. Red Yoga meditation is bringing us to that conscious voice, that voice of truth, that is always telling me the truth of who I am, who I really am. I'm this being that is experiencing through this costume, this vehicle, the body. I'm not this body, but I am more than just this body. I am that thinking, feeling, conscient being that makes this body work. Now, when I am in that consciousness, whatever is happening, I can take it in the form of acceptance, in the form of accommodation, in the form of tolerance. And these are all powers that I have within me. So I'm able to tolerate because I'm in that consciousness of who I really am and of what is happening in my environment, that it is happening outside me, it's not happening inside me. But when the subconscious is very dominant in my life, when I am constantly referencing the past, then my interaction with others, my actions are tainted. And my responses are not really always of something that brings pleasure to me or those around me. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question. Am I always aware of what is behind my thoughts and feelings? Am I always aware of what is behind my thoughts and feelings? Just take a moment to answer that question for yourself. And now ask yourself deeper, is this awareness affecting the way I communicate with others? Is this awareness affecting the way I communicate with others? So the first is, am I aware of what lies behind my thoughts and feelings? And is this awareness affecting the quality of my communication? I don't know if anyone wants to respond to this briefly before I move on, or we just leave it hanging and then we carry on. I don't know how you do it, Gantami. Do we actually take feedbacks in between, or we wait for question and answer at the end? Okay, good. We can go ahead. All right. So now that we've done that exercise, we see that every time I'm thinking or every time I'm feeling in a certain way, there is something that lies behind it something more emotional, some kind of engine that is churning, that is creating the thoughts and feelings in my mind. And because I have those thoughts and feelings, I am not fully aware of where they're coming from. So maybe sometimes we feel in a certain way, and he said, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. And we leave it like that. Oh, I'm feeling a bit strange, or I'm feeling under the weather. There are no words to explain them. But when I start to say, why am I feeling this way? What am I thinking that is bringing this feeling to me? Then I take it a little bit further into the thoughts. What are the quality of the thoughts that are making me feel this way? And when I come to the quality of the thoughts, I'm saying, okay, so this is happening, but why am I thinking this way? It's what is the belief system that lies behind those thoughts? There's always a belief. If I think someone is going to harm me, then I have that belief in my mind that's of harm. So even if something very, very simple is happening, I'm thinking in terms of it might be harmful to me. Okay, someone has a question. How to control anger? Please help. Okay, can I come to that question a little bit later, or do you want me to respond to it right now? Later. Okay, wonderful. So it brings me closer to the belief system that is behind the way my thinking and my feeling. And there's always a belief system because I have created it from way, way, way back. And I've stored it in this memory bank that I call subconscious. And in the subconscious is everything I've experienced, every single thing, even in thoughts, even just words, even actions. They've all stored like an MP3 and MP4. Everything is there in audio and visual. And so when I actually have a thought that is niggling in my mind, behind that is a clear picture of some past incident that I'm harboring, and I'm infiltrating that into the present moment and creating thoughts that are completely influenced by something unrelated to what is happening now. And it might have some semblance of relation, but it's not something that I can, okay, that's not for me. It's not something that I should really be dwelling on in this moment. And what is interesting is the conversation I was having with the couple before I had to move away, is that same thing on communication, that one says something and the other brings a past incident to qualify it, and it creates a confusion. It creates an argument. Whereas the statement itself didn't need to be misconstrued into argument or into misinterpretation. But because the past has been brought into it, it's like a drop of poison in a glass of pure water. And so that whole water is poisonous now. It hasn't been seen in its purity. It's been tainted by a small incident from a past time. And this is why it's so important to be conscious of our subconscious, because the things we store in our subconscious are not always wonderful things. They're sometimes horrible things that will influence what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and how I am responding to situations, to people, to circumstances. And my response is very important, because the way I respond will determine the sort of response I will get in return. Others give me back what I give off. So if I give off sarcasm because what I'm responding is coming from a space where I'm thinking, all right, I don't trust you. I don't even believe that what you're saying is true. Even though I'm not saying that, and I might be saying something wonderful, that feeling, that subconscious emotion that is coming with it, that belief system that is coming with it has transformed it in the ears of the receiver as something negative. To me, I'm saying something positive, and I'm saying, but I can't see why their response is so negative. Why not? Because I have a wonderful nail, but I'm hammering it with a negative thing. I'm hammering it in with negativity. And so, although it is doing the job of nailing two things together, the end result is not pretty, is not harmonious, because the receiver receives the negative as well as the positive. I just want them to get the positive. But my intention behind it, my subconscious mind, is tainting the positive. And that's why the response to me is negative. Because what I'm giving off is not completely pure. So I can't get back a completely pure response. And then I'm saying, oh, these people, they never could get me. They don't understand me. Why are they not understanding me? Because I'm not even understanding me myself. I can't expect to get back from others what I'm not even giving to my own self. I'm not being true to myself, because if I'm mixing my emotions and my pure feelings, then what will be received is a mixed message. So I'm not being true to myself. So how could I expect others to be true to me? So sometimes we need to be conscious of the response we are getting from others. Why are they responding to me in this way? What am I saying and how am I saying it that it can be misconstrued that I can have this response and respond? And that is being consciously checking. Normally what we do before we actually realize that we're doing it is we are blaming the respondent for the quality of response. We're saying, I'm okay, they are the ones who have the problem. This is why I look at them, they're so negative. Look at, I am saying this wonderful, I'm doing it for their benefit, and this is how they're responding to me. So it is all about them. Consciously checking is all about me. I take it in and said, okay, why did they respond to me like this? What did I really say? How did I say it? What did I believe I will get in response? Did I say it in a way that I will get what I believe will be the best response? And so I take ownership of it and I take responsibility for it. And because I'm doing that, I'm transforming the way I am thinking, speaking, feeling, acting. And so I'm becoming better at communication because I'm checking the subconscious at all time. And that's one simple way of looking at it. But there are other ways that I can look at it. In my subconscious, there are these incidents that happen with very different people. And so now an incident is happening, the scene is similar, the actors in the scene are different, the time is different, even the space might be different. But I am saying that this happened 10 years ago with those people. And so now I am going to respond because I know what is going to be the result of this. My belief system, I know that each time this is what will happen. So I'm projecting that past experience into this present situation. So already, before I get a response, before I create harmony in the relationship, I've already tainted the relationship with the belief system that I hold. And this belief system is like a disease. It's a dis-ease in the mind that I'm projecting and creating a dis-ease in my relationships with others, in my communications with others, in my vision of others, in my response to others. And how could I stop myself from doing that? That develops with another sense of determination. I get that from creating moments of silence within myself, moments when I introspect and I tell myself that what had happened in the past, there was a lesson in it. What did I learn from it? Let me leave all the other stuff behind and just take the lesson forward. And when I'm doing that, my communication in the present moment with the new group of people, with the different actors, will be more effective. And I will be understood, and I will understand others. But that takes a lot of practice to get to that space, because the tendency is to quickly blame the others and say, oh, they wouldn't get me. They never get me. Nobody ever gets me. 10 years ago, they never understood me. So what is going to change now? They would not understand me either. So I've already have this conversation in my mind, unchecked. And so I project that forward. Taking moments of introspection, taking moments to go into my own inner space and tell myself that the past is the past, but the past held a lesson, and I have learned that lesson. So let me take that lesson forward and not make mistakes of the past. You know, we can learn from the movies. When there's a mistake, what do? The movie director will say, cut. That means pause. Stop it, take 2, or take 3, or take 10. How much time does it take to redo the scene? And so what we are doing is we're pausing and we're taking time to see, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Where is it coming from? And how it's going to impact those that are going to hear me or see me or understand what I am saying or doing. When I take that moment to pause, it's like taking a nice deep breath of fresh air, and I feel relaxed and I feel good. And so when I am in that relaxed, feel good feeling, what is coming from me is from a space of peace, from a space of love, that inner space that holds my truth, who I am really, a being of peace, a being of love, a wise being, one who thinks before acting and saying, one who is always concerned of creating happiness rather than creating sorrow, one who is concerned of creating an atmosphere of peace around me so that others can enjoy that space of peace. Introspection doesn't mean that I'm so introverted. You know, in the world today, introversion is seen as something bad. So we said this person who's an extrovert is open. Open to what? When I'm introverted, I am open. It's kind of like a paradox. Introversion means that I am more open to accept what is happening around me, what is being said to me, and what is being done either to me or to others. So I don't have that baggage of taking sides or being judgmental or comparison or wanting to control the situation. I'm in control of myself already, in that space of internal harmony. I am in control. So nothing external is going to influence that space, that feeling that I have within me, that consciousness that I'm holding at that moment. Not even my subconscious, because the subconscious is also internal. And so there is this internal battle between the subconscious and the conscious mind. The conscious mind is creating whatever scene is happening at the moment, but the subconscious mind is holding on to past scenes. So introspection is taking me within and looking at these two things that are happening. You know, in some photos you see they draw the angel on one shoulder and the devil with the red devil with the fork on the other shoulder. And so this is what is happening here. The angel is my conscience, my conscious voice that is always telling me what is true. And that voice is beyond the subconscious. It's deeper than the subconscious. It is actually my original blueprint, my original CD or MP3 that is all the qualities that are innately who I am. And that lies beneath those subconscious voices that I've created. But because I've created them and they have formed their own strong belief system, it's loud. It's loud, and I hear them more than I hear the voice of my conscience. The voice of my conscience is a very tiny voice that speaks sweetly, that speaks softly. But the voice of the subconscious is loud, and it's like this big crow that is always quack, 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 and telling me stuff that you should say it like this. They should not do this to you. Get up, do this, do that. And the subconscious voice is saying, no, you are peaceful. You are loveful. You are so calm. You are happy. You don't need what is happening out there to make you happy. You are happy. But we say, oh, shut up. That's not what is. The world is that everybody is dog eat dog in this world. And we tell ourselves the story of the subconscious. And so we're responding in that way. And we find that it is full of worry and it's full of doubt and it's full of fear. And we say, this is what life is. Life is full of doubt and life is full of fear and life is worrisome. But really, is it what life is? Then why am I searching for happiness? Why am I searching for love? Why do I want to be peaceful? If life is that, then let me just accept it like that is what it is. The reason why I can't accept the fear and the worry is because there is something deeper than that I am seeking. And what I'm seeking is what lies beyond the subconscious. Beyond the subconscious is the unconscious, that I'm not fully aware that this is what I am. And the beauty of Raj Yoga meditation is that it helps me to get to that space. It brings me back into the true nature of my being. The true me, the me that is so wonderful, that is so beautiful. And it's not that I am that and nobody else is. Each one of us is exactly alike in our unconscious mind or in our unconscious state. We are peaceful, loveful, blissful, not just happy, but blissful. We are pure in our understanding, in our uptake, and we are also wise. We know exactly how to act and what to do and what to say. We don't always listen to that. That's why we need to check. And not just check, but we need to change as well. So when I check the subconscious, I need to go beyond it into that state of feeling and being that it is truly me. And then I get to the point where I'm accepting, I'm powerful, because there are these powers within me, but I think that they're outside. And people say to me, oh, I will learn to tolerate, if only I can learn to tolerate. I'm so intolerant, I'm so impatient. And so we kind of flag up the things that we store in our subconscious as real. And we give it an identity and we say, I am that. Someone asks a question about how can I get rid of anger? Because I claim anger and I say, I am angry. I am not angry. I feel anger. I feel angry. It is it is an emotion that I have developed, but it's not me. It's not my true fate. So when I feel angry, I think that is me and I say, I am angry. And people say to you, you are such an angry person. That's not who you are. You are a peaceful soul. And when you acknowledge that I am peaceful, although that feeling of anger might arise in the mind, quickly you can dispel it with the knowledge of your peacefulness by just breathing and affirming that I am peaceful. I am peaceful. This angry state is a temporary state of being influenced by some trigger from the outside. Maybe some words that someone spoke, or maybe some action that someone did. And I'm responding to it with this emotion of anger. And so when I stop accepting those things to be true of me, I start checking and changing my attitude towards others, towards situations. In other words, I'm stop being influenced. And you know, the word influence is I'm taking in things from external sources and making it change the way I am. That's what I'm doing. That's what we do in the subconscious. And when I can actually check myself and stop myself and say, okay, take two, take a nice deep breath and ask yourself, is this really what I want to feel? Is this really how I want to portray myself? Do I really want to be an angry person? Is this really me? Can I sustain anger for years and years and years? Just imagine yourself as being angry every single day of your life, 24 hours, 7 days, 365. Just imagine what that will do to you. Can you sustain anger for all that time? And I'm not talking about you feeling angry this minute and the next minute you feel happy. I'm talking about a constant state of anger. Can you sustain that? Can you see yourself being like that? And if you can't see yourself being like that, then it is not you. But can you see yourself being peaceful every moment of the day, every day of your life? Can you see yourself being peaceful? Because that's what you are. And that's what we are seeking. The mere idea we are seeking to consciously check what we have stored in our subconscious is we want to get back into beyond the subconscious, into that state of being that we truly are. The five big ones, you know, in UK and maybe in North America, no, I don't know. I can only speak about the UK. In the UK, we have these five food groups that we need to have in our diet, so our big five. So we also have our great five, the great five qualities that make us as human beings so wonderful, each one of us. Peace, love, happiness, bliss, wisdom, and purity. These are the five things. And if you check those five things, these are what we are searching for in life, no? Everyone wants peace in their life. When you ask enough questions why they're doing the things they're doing, underlying it all will be that need to be peaceful. Or everyone wants to be loved and experience love and give love. Yes? Everyone wants that for themselves. Everyone wants to be happy. Nobody wants to live sad and mopey for the rest of their life. Have you met anyone like that who just wants to be sad all the time of their life? Recently, Sister Maureen did a Sunday talk for us in Accra, and she was saying that Daddy Janky, and Daddy Janky is our deceased spiritual director who has just left the body recently, and Daddy Janky was giving this lecture, and she was very happy, and this person in the corner, very sad and couldn't stand her happiness. And she said, well, why do you need to, what need do you have to be happy when I am so sad? And the response from Daddy was that, okay, if you are sad and I am sad, who it is will bring us into happiness. And so it was a beautiful statement that actually took me back to, yeah, if someone else is sad and I am sad with them, am I helping to bring them into a state of happiness? If I remain in my happiness, then I can make a difference, because that happiness is truly in that other soul. It's just at the moment they're under the influence of some trigger that creates sorrow in them. And if I can see it in that way, I can send them that vibration of happiness that eventually will trigger out happiness. And so what happened to that person is, because of that response, that person start gaining little feelings of happiness while being in the toll. So anger, to answer the question of the person who asked, why can I get rid of my anger? It is not your anger. It's something that you have nurtured and have put in your subconscious, very easily accessible. So as soon as something happens, you can just stretch out and pull out anger because you have made it accessible. You have done that. Check yourself. Is whatever happening worth me moving from a state of peace into the state of anger? What does anger do to me? Does it make me feel good about me? After that bout of anger, what happens to me? Do I feel tired? Do I feel ashamed? Do I feel regret? Are these feelings the feelings that I want to feel for as long in my life as I can? Is this a lasting feeling that I want? If the answer to those questions is no, then change it. How do I change it? By talking to myself. Self-talk is very important. Part of checking is not just having a list and saying tick, 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 tick. It is actually talking to myself. Talking to myself as I will to someone who is going through the same situation I'm in. And I'm talking to myself in the consciousness of who I really am. So I will be saying, but Grace, does this really need you to become angry? Is this something that really is affecting you in this way? Are you a puppet to what is happening external to you? And so when you're talking to yourself and you're asking yourself these questions, the answer is coming. Inner wisdom is the intuitive feeling that I have the answer to every question I can possibly ask. Do you feel that? Do you feel that you have the answer to every question that you are asking? If you don't feel that, then start feeling it now, because you do. You do have the answer to the questions. And that is why sometimes you get responses and you say, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to listen to them. I don't feel like that is what I should do, because there is that gut intuition that is telling you what is right. Sometimes we don't listen to it and we want others to tell us what to do. And partly, unconsciously, is because we have someone to blame if it doesn't go the way we want it to go. So we don't want to take responsibility, so we ask for advice from others. And when we take the advice, we said, you see, this is what this person told me to do, and look at what happened. I'm not taking responsibility for it. I didn't make that decision. They make that decision for me. No one could make decision for you. You choose to take the decision of those others. So it is your choice. You have decided to let others decide for you. And because you have made that kind of decision, you have to stand the consequence to it. But instead, you blame. And you're free. It's not me, it's them. And I can't do anything about them. If I take responsibility for it, then I can do something about it. I need to check it and I need to change it. And I'm too lazy to do that. I don't feel like doing that. So let others take the blame for it. And because I can't do anything about it, I'm helpless. I'm the victim. And this victim mentality is not helping me because it's taking me further away from my truth. And my truth is the power, the strength that helps me to live my life fully. And when I say fully, it means to live my life in the fullness of the qualities that lie deep within me, in the fullness of peace, in a loveful, joyful, blissful, pure way. That's fullness. It's not that my life is full with stuff, that I have a big car and I have a nice house and I can travel the world at the click of a finger. It's not that kind of fullness, but the fullness of all the wonderful qualities that make me, I, the soul, the being that I am. And I'm going to stop now and I'm going to take any questions at this point because I'm aware in 4 more minutes we have the end of the session, or I don't know if I have more minutes for that.
Graceman, well done. Thank you so much for that insightful presentation. And in case if you want to share some more, you have some time. And we are waiting for the questions, those who are connected through the Zoom, and also of those who are connected through YouTube. Uh, you may please continue.
Okay, thank you. All right, so there's a third aspect, and I'm going to make it a little bit brief. I'm not going to take it too long. The third aspect of checking, the consciously checking. You know, we can check, but what I want to bring in this third aspect is carelessness. And the carelessness is sometimes, and I'm going to make that a practical example. Sometimes we check something, but we just glance at it and we said, yeah, it looks okay. And when we look again, maybe a day after or an hour or so after, we realize, hang on, oh, this was happening. One of the things I find is with texting from WhatsApp, big fingers, and sometimes you want to type a C, but the V comes instead of the C. And you check and you read it back to yourself and you read it the way you have it in your mind. You didn't fully see that the spelling was not right. Because you can read it because you already have it in your mind what you're going to write. So you're reading it from what you have in your mind rather than what you have on the screen of the phone. And so you checked and you send it off. But when you read it further, then you have to say, oh, there are typos. And so I have to change it. So carelessness is something we need to guard against when we are consciously checking our actions, our words, our behavior. When I'm consciously checking it, let me do that with care. Let me make sure that what I'm doing is going to have the best impact on those who are going to be listening or receiving whatever it is I'm doing. You know, if you're cooking, you're not going to just pour salt in the pot like this, but you're going to consciously check and say that, okay, there is enough salt so that those who are going to eat it can just taste it. If they need more salt, they can add, but you're just going to make it in a conscious way that is going to benefit the majority of people. And so it's the same with my action, my thinking, my speaking. Is the thought in my mind one that is going to bring the maximum benefit to those around me and to myself? Because the first benefit of my thoughts is me. The benefactor of my thoughts is me. When I think something, I feel the experience of that comes to me first, because thoughts bring feelings. Feelings compound into emotions. So I've already experienced it even before I transform it into words or actions. It's like when you go into the shop to buy a gift for someone you love, you see something and you thought, oh wow, they will really love it. Already before you even purchase it or even before you hand it to them, you've experienced that feeling that they will have. So you already felt it. When you give it to them and you see the smile on their face and you feel the gratitude they have for it, that's just a bonus. You've already experienced it. And even if they don't have that kind of feeling, you've already experienced the best of it. So it's okay if they don't appreciate it. You felt that it came from a space deep inside that created happiness. And if they didn't feel it, maybe they're not in that space to receive the happiness, but in time they will. If I give them the projection of you didn't appreciate it, you see, I give you this and you don't feel good about it, I'm making them feel guilty. And if I am making them feel guilty, then how would they appreciate it? I'm pushing them more and more into their state of negativity. I'm not helping them. But if I keep in this space like, okay, maybe whatever you are going through at the moment is preventing you from accepting or for preventing you from being gracious, that's okay. In time, you will be. I'm telling that to myself. I'm not telling that to them. But because I'm saying it to myself, all these things are energy. Thoughts are energy. I cannot see it. I can only radiate it from myself. Just as how we can't look at the sun. If we do look at the sun, we can go blind. But we can actually experience the rays of the sun. We can see the light of the sun. We can experience the heat of the sun. But it's way, way, way above us. And we can't look at it with the naked eyes. We need something special to actually view the sun. In the same way, when I'm giving thoughts, the vibrations of those thoughts cannot be seen by others, but they can experience it in the way of a feeling that it encourages in them. They can also experience the warmth of that thought. They don't know exactly what I'm thinking, but they can experience the quality of my thought and know whether it is meaning good for them or bad for them. And I'm sure you must have had experiences where you met someone or you're speaking to someone and you're just feeling that person is not being honest, or that person is trying to impress me but not being themselves. I don't know if you ever had this experience, but they haven't said anything that, look, I'm trying to fool you, but you are picking up that vibration. And that's the way our thoughts work. They vibrate through the atmosphere and we pick up the truth behind that vibration, the subconscious belief that is going with that thought. And so we pick that up because we are beings that mostly communicate through energy. And people say it's through words, but no, words are limited. And more than 80% of our interaction is through that energy of thoughts. And you are picking up on what I'm saying because you are feeling the vibration of my thoughts. But if that thought is negative, you will also pick up that. I might be saying the best things. I might be saying the sweetest things. But if it is coming from a space of negativity within me, then the words are dry. But the thoughts that are coming, the negativity that are coming behind it, brings it alive, and you pick up on that. So the words are said, but you say, I don't believe you. You're not truthful. You're being dishonest. And I'm doing my best to be honest. But I am not in the space of honesty. I'm in a negative space, and that is what is going to hammer home the thoughts that I'm sharing with you. And so care in making certain that whatever it is I want to the other to experience, or whatever I want to view the situations or the circumstance with, is real. And that care comes from one word that we use: determination. A determination to always have the best interest of others at heart, but my best interest as well. I need to be determined to do that. Determination and carelessness doesn't go hand in hand. When I'm careless, I do things slipshod, in a kind of lackadaisical way, in a sloppy way. I did it, but it's not done properly. It's not done to the best of my ability. When I am determined, I have the will and I have the ability to do my best and to give my best 100% each time. And so whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm saying, it's having its maximum impact. When I am not in that state of determination and I'm careless, it doesn't matter whether they understand or not, then it's not going to have maximum benefit. And people will leave feeling very, very unfulfilled. It's like I've just digested empty calories. Empty calories fill your stomach, but it doesn't nourish the body. There's no nourishment to the body, it's just a fullness. So I'm full, but with empty calories. And it's the same way when I'm careless, my words and my actions are full with emptiness. You want to say, what is being full with emptiness, and how can you be full with emptiness? It means that the impact is not effective. That's being full with emptiness. Okay? So that was the third aspect. There are three aspects to it, and the third
So we
aspect.
have a few questions.
Yes?
May I read?
Yes, sure.
So the first question here is please tell some tricks to be joyful always.
Some tricks to be joyful always.
Yeah, to be joyful always. Should I read all the questions and then you can answer them?
Yeah, I think that will be best because some might be overlapping.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. So there are also certain questions. How do we maintain same elevated stage every day? Please guide us, sister. How to clean subconscious, then at the subtle level also. We are not always aware of the depth of subconscious. Thank you, Baba. How can we overcome with the feelings of losing our loved ones physically or personally?
That's it?
That's all, sister. Yes.
Okay. Right. There are a few of them that are actually warrant the same sort of answer. And, maintaining a state of equilibrium, if I would say being same all the time, that state of equilibrium is really hard work, and I need to work towards it. And for that, we have something that we call traffic control. Traffic control is that the music will go on every hour, on the hour, for a minute. And in that minute, I check the quality of the thoughts in my mind, the quality of the feelings I have in my heart, and I check whether in the past hour I was really being true to myself, or whether I was being in a state of peacefulness, whatever it is. So that check-in takes place there. And so in that 1 minute, I'm able to transform that hour time that I spent maybe in wastefulness and to make a determined thought that the next hour will be better. And so it's each time I'm injecting a drop of determination to make my stage absolutely elevated at every moment. And I might fail. No one can do it 100% all the time. Maybe not even 100% one time. But at least I'm improving on my percentage as I go along. Each minute I take to check the quality of my thoughts, the quality of my feelings. Yes, it's not easy to go into the real depth and be aware of the depth of it. But when I'm looking at the feelings and the thoughts, that's something that I can access quite easily because I'm thinking it. What am I thinking? And to stay with that thinking and look at what is behind that thinking. What is behind the way I'm thinking? You know, sometimes we just stop at feelings and we don't take feelings up to thinking. So you say, oh, I don't feel very well, or I don't feel happy about this. But I don't go into what is the thought that I'm creating that is making me feel unhappy about it. So when I go into that state, then I can go into the subconscious things that I have created as a belief system that is feeding the thinking. Because the thoughts are being fed from the subconscious. But I don't want my thoughts to be only fed by the subconscious. I want my thoughts to be fed by what lies beneath the subconscious stuff that I've acquired, that I have attained. What is beneath that has not been attained, it has always been. And that's my true feeling of peace and love and happiness and what have you. So taking time throughout the day to engage with myself in a meaningful way helps me to maintain a state of equilibrium and also to create a more elevated way of thinking and feeling about myself. Not about others, about myself first. Because when I started thinking and feeling elevated, then I will have that for others. But first I need to give it to myself. I cannot give to others what I don't have for myself. The question on the loved one passing out, could you read that again, sister? I think I need to get the real context of it. Is it possible that I can hear that question again?
Yes, please. I'm sorry, actually, there was a disconnection in the internet and everything is gone. But
Okay, that's right.
I think, Sister Geeta, would you please repeat? Everything got disconnected and connected in just a moment, so it got vanished. Sister Geeta, can you take the questions one after another?
Okay. Where is it? The question?
The question from YouTube or anywhere.
YouTube, I don't find any questions.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Sister Meena, I think you have also received. Would you please repeat?
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
The question of losing someone, na, Didi?
Yes, losing someone.
How can we overcome with the feeling of losing our loved ones physically or personally?
Okay, yeah. I thought it was like that, and I didn't want to give a response that didn't really match the person's question. Now, we cannot lose anything. And one of the things that I use for my own self is that I own nothing. And because I own nothing, I cannot lose anything. And because I cannot lose anything, I feel secure in myself. And when I am secure in myself, I am completely contented. To feel that I can own a human being is very arrogant of myself. I cannot own a human being. Each one of us belong to ourselves. My doesn't work with this. When we start saying my, that's when we get stuck. And that's when we are creating sorrow for ourselves. Because anything we claim as an owner of, there is a tendency that we can lose it. But you cannot own a human being, so therefore you cannot lose a human being. You don't lose anything or anyone. Souls come into your life for particular reasons and to settle certain actions that maybe you have created with that soul, maybe in another time. In our philosophy, we do believe in that principle of rebirth, and that we take other bodies. When we leave one body, we take another. And you don't have to believe in that, but this is in our philosophy. And so souls come into our life for a reason. And then they also leave our lives. When that's whatever the reason that they have or whatever the role they had to play in our life is finished, then they move on. And if we can look at it in that way, that soul has given us gifts, wonderful gifts, have taught us lessons. But why am I thinking that I've lost them? The gifts and the lessons are still there. They haven't gone anywhere. They're imprinted in the memory of in the memory in my subconscious. It's there. So I haven't lost anyone, and I cannot lose anyone because I do not own anyone.
So, Sister Grace, so you mean that we need to train our subconscious in this regard?
Yes, very
and
much.
everyone, we should be prepared that some or other time we're going to lose somebody. And so let's be prepared, and let's be always reminding ourselves that whatever you said, all the affirmations, and then the sorrow will be less.
Absolutely, yeah. We also know that we say nothing lasts forever. And we say that everything comes to an end. We were born and we have to die. We know that.
Isn't it just philosophy? What's practical? How do you train the subconscious?
We don't train the subconscious, but we actually trim the same subconscious. When I say trim it, because in the subconscious we have accumulated a lot of rubbish, a lot of beliefs that are false. And so we have to trim that, or we have to dispel them, and we have to unlearn the things that we have learned that we thought was right, that we thought was true, that we thought that this is what it's supposed to be, or this is what it is. And it's not really that. What we have to do is to invoke our unconscious, the true state of being that is there way beneath the subconscious things that we have stored. And when we start bringing that to the surface, we start using them, there is no room for the false beliefs of the subconscious. So in other words, to trim the subconscious, I need to start using the qualities that are innate to me. The more I practice being peaceful, is the less room for the subconscious to influence my thinking and feeling. The more I practice love in my life, is the less room to feel jealousy and hate and dislike for anything or anyone. The more I practice being contented in my life, is the less I feel that I have lost anything or anyone. I am still full, I am content. The reason why we think we've lost is because we have been dependent on that person for love, maybe for feeling good, for happiness. You know, and we said that one made me happy and I miss them. No one can make you happy. Happiness is your innate quality. It lies deep within the subconscious, in the bottom of the drawer of subconscious. It's those wonderful qualities. But we have layered and layered and layered them with all sorts of false beliefs and habits and tendencies and experiences. And so we are acting from that space, but we need to go deeper than that into the true original qualities. And I'm sure you've heard the term fake it to make it. So if I start encouraging myself to be peaceful, even if I am not in a state of peacefulness at the moment, but we use the word Om Shanti, meaning I am peaceful soul. And so if I tell myself each time that that state of peacelessness comes to me, that feeling of anger or that feeling of irritation comes to me, that feeling of loss comes to me, I just remind myself, I am peaceful. Om Shanti. And even if I have to say Om Shanti repeatedly like a mantra, eventually there will become spaces in between. Those spaces will be spaces of peace. So when I say Om Shanti, I experience it, and there's no need to state it until I start feeling that there's lacking. So then it will be another Om Shanti. And so these are little practices that we can do for ourselves. Self-talk is very important. Journaling is also a good way if you like writing. So you can write a letter to yourself based on how you feel and what you're thinking, what you're experiencing at the time. And then when you read it back, you can have that editing and said, but I don't need to feel that way because this has passed and gone. I don't have control over it, so why do I worry about it? Worry about things that you can change. If you can't change it, why worry about it? It's a fruitless exercise. If you can't bring someone else back to life, why feel so much loss about it? Why waste time? And there are living souls around you that you can actually be spending that time with. Okay?
Double okay.
I'm
Can
so
you
sorry
take
because
us?
I didn't have a time to
No, no,
even
no, no, no.
think of this topic.
It is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And there are lots of appreciations already have been typed and sent. So thanks to all of them who have heard the session through Zoom and through YouTube. In case if you want the audio recording of this one, kindly do WhatsApp on the number +234 810 6262 866, and you can even email on Lagos at ng.brahmakumaris brahmakumaris Lagos at ng.brahmakumaris.org. So this is the email that you can contact and you can get the recording. And now I request Sister Grace to please guide us into our meditation.
So taking just a moment, I relax. I relax my body completely. And gently, very gently, I step into silence. In the silence and stillness of the mind, I ask myself, am I being true to who I am? Am I proud of who I am? Am I happy in the way I'm thinking and feeling, not just at this moment, but at every moment in my life? At this place, I acknowledge who I really am, a being of peace, a being of light, radiating peace into the atmosphere around me. I allow my mind to rest in its feeling of peace and encourage thoughts of peace come on the screen of my mind. And as these thoughts of peace enter the screen of my mind, my intellect, my conscience brings the experiences of peace, scenes of peace, moments of peace, whether it was an external situation or an internal situation, a moment when my mind was so peaceful, when I felt peace radiating from me, when I felt peace making a difference to the responses I had in an interaction. In this moment, I feel the presence of my own inner capacity to just give peace and be peace. Peace is a natural quality of I, the soul. It is who I am. It is the religion of the soul. And I am peace. And in this peaceful state of being, I create thoughts of myself that are of the highest quality. Not thoughts of lack or loss, but thoughts of fulfillment, thoughts of contentment, thoughts that uplift me and automatically uplift those around me. Let me stay in this feeling of peace, enjoying the qualities of peace and love and happiness that arises from the depth of peace. Without peace, it is difficult to experience love and happiness. But in this peaceful space right now, there is so much love. There is only love. And there is so much happiness to be who I am in this moment. Taking a deep breath. Breathing in the pure qualities of peace, love, and happiness. And breathing out any tensions that have blocked my peace, love, and happiness from surfacing. I come back to this moment, but with the reality that I am full, that I need nothing from outside myself. Instead, I am full to the point of overflowing, and I'm able to give to the external world around me. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Grace. That was really wonderful. We will have another planned session with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being me.
To all the listeners, thanks a lot for being connected. And certainly the coming Saturday, that is 16th May, and it is at 6 p.m. So we will listen to Brother Dr. E.V. Girish. And till now, we have been hearing the very experienced, insightful talk of Dr. Grace Lopez Charles, all the way from the country of Ghana. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.